Yeah, come today, appreciate it. I don't think you have an opening statement, do you?
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a great golf tournament. Yeah, that's what
Andrew?
Okay, you have two graduate transfers coming in. How is that, the availability, and that there's so many kids willing to move after 3 years when they have 1 year left, change sort of the way you envision teams down the road?
Need to say, it has changed dramatically. We, in a perfect world, okay, which it's not, I would have 4 or 5 freshmen every year. But at the same time, we're not in a perfect world. And both of these kids were really good students that I knew their coaches or people close to them personally. And so we got quality kids and quality players. And we'll have to see how they do when they get on the court with us. But the whole world in basketball recruiting has changed. I mean, we're still recruiting, but we're still recruiting for this next season, you know, and you never stop recruiting, and I do that all the time. But this spring has been so much more hectic with recruiting because the commission or committee, whatever it was called, that the changes that they made is much different. They're making it easier and easier for transfers, and that's good and bad. You know, a kid should be able to do what he wants to do, but also I happen to be one of those old school guys that thinks it's okay to have some adversity and handle it. And I still remember, and Art's probably the only one in here that remembers, we had a player here named Darrell Elster. Coach Smith tried to talk him into transferring after his sophomore year. He said, "No, I want to show you." And then 2 years later, he's like second team all conference. But kids now, parents now, they want a quicker fix, and so there's, 48 million kids on the transfer portal. I don't know. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of third graders I saw his names on the transfer portal. So it's the world we live in.
In-person evaluation has always been such a huge part of what you do. It's kind of hard to evaluate these other kids. So how do you get around that?
You still have tape. You know, I mean, every game's televised in some way, form, or it's just the tape to get back to the coach's office, and so. That's the biggest thing specifically with the grad transfers. That's what you do. But still with high school kids, you still have a lot of opportunities to see them face to face.
Roy, you've got Coby and Nasir both projected as lottery picks. Was that a pretty easy conversation to have with those guys at the end of the season?
Yeah. We lost on Friday, came back on Saturday. I met with Coby at 7 and Nasir at 8 or vice versa on Sunday night. And I met with the 3 seniors earlier that day. But Coby's, it was a neat deal for him. And he had told me, he said, "Coach, I never planned to come here for 1 year." And so when we started that, I knew that was his statement. I knew that's what he'd already told me. And I said, "Well, son, tell me what you're thinking." And he sort of didn't really know what he was thinking. That he had gotten a great deal of confidence during the year by the way he played. And he said, "What do you think?" And I told him it was very easy for me that he was going to be a #1 draft choice. Just had some lunch. I usually don't eat. That I thought he'd be a #1 draft choice very easily. He was ready for it. Could he become more ready if he stayed? Yeah. But, you know, why? And I thought it would be the right thing for him to do. Gave him my blessing. I think he was, you know, pleased with that. His mother mentioned in some article that he really became very much at ease after our meeting, that was the right thing for him to do. Nasir, all along we knew that was in his mind. And I said, there's the same thing. I mean, people can say you didn't have the year that they thought you were going to have, but you're going to be the #1 draft choice. You're going to be able to reach your long-term dreams and goals. And you have my blessing there on that one as well. And, you know, it's a different decision with Cam, but Cam's going to be drafted in the first round also. So it'll be a busy night for me. I'm not going to the draft. I've been a few times, and it's nice, but I don't need to do that. So I'm going to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. My daughter's national finals in the dance competition, so that's where I'll be Thursday night. But I will have a television available so I can see what's going on.
Coach, did you think that Coby could have been like a first-round draft pick or a lottery pick, you know, when you recruited him before he started
I thought he was a unique young man. Not the first time I saw him, but one of the games I saw him in the summer after his sophomore year, he had 5 threes and 5 dunks in the same game. And that's hard to do. And then last summer, about this time, I changed and said, guys, we need to recruit to try to see if we can get a great point guard in the next class, because I don't think he's going to be here. And I told my staff at some points, we have, I don't know how many we're going to have this summer. It'd be 3 or 4. We had 4 practices, I think, last year, and I thought he was the best player on our team during the summer. And so, yeah, I think it was at that point, if you're the leading scorer in the history of North Carolina high school basketball, you're pretty good. You know, you don't have to be a nuclear physicist to figure that out. But I think the way he played here last summer and our practices and everything, that's what sold me.
Roy, it seems like there was a perception, I don't know, last maybe 5, 7 years or so, that you didn't like one and done kind of players, that you didn't want them on the squad. How far do you think having Nas and Coby, their names called Thursday night, is going to go to?
People are going to write what they want to write. You know, the coaches probably promoted a little bit too, but I've got a wonderful situation because some kids come to school here and sort of like to stay around. But at the same time, I try to recruit those guys. We just didn't get as many of them. I'd love to have 1 or 2 of those guys on every team because you like to have talent. Talent helps you win. But I also like to have some of those guys that you feel are going to be around 3 or 4 years, or 2 or 3 or 4 years. We've had Tyler Zeller and Tyler Hansbrough both just wanted to stay around. And the perception that everybody else got from that was that that's, you know, that I put handcuffs on. You know, and this year, you guys know it, there were people saying I was holding the seer back. And, you know, yeah, I want to hold a guy back so I can lose. That really makes a lot of freaking sense. And then the other thing, if I'm holding the seer back, why am I not holding Coby back? And so really it boils down to other people will say what they want to say. But very comfortable about the way we coach. Again, I'm not saying anything like against Duke or Kentucky, because half of those guys on their teams I tried to recruit, but I don't want 5 or 6 guys like that, because I do enjoy building a team. I do enjoy seeing guys like Luke May and Kenny Williams get better and better and better each year. Cam Johnson. I mean, Cam wasn't on any mock drafts out of high school. In fact, last year, or not last year, this spring, there were 4 mock drafts because somebody sort of irritated me one day with something that was said. And so our guys got together and they showed 4 drafts, or 4 mock drafts from October, November. And it had Nasir, I don't know, 3, 5, 7, 9. Those 4 mock drafts. I'm just guessing. And I said, so, okay, you know, now he's 9, 12, 13, 14. But Coby was 0, 0, 0, 0. Cam was 0, 0, 0, 0. I said, so if you're going to blame me for the one guy, then should I get some credit for the other 2? And I don't think I should get credit for the other 2. You know, so it's silliness is what it is. But Tyler Hansbrough, I tried to talk into going. And I thought it was the right thing for him to do, but he said, I've never won a national championship. I want to leave after I won a national championship. Tyler Zeller, the educational part was really important to him and his family, so he stayed around. But it's, you know, again, I can't dominate what everybody else is going to say, but I feel very comfortable with what we're doing.
Roy, the push now is to allow those guys, the Nasirs and the Zions, to go straight to the NBA. And obviously, they're good for college basketball. Will it hurt college basketball?
Oh, it'll hurt the talent. But college basketball's doing okay. There's no perfect rule, I'm telling you. LeBron James did not make a bad decision. I mean, is that a hard thing to figure out? But I can list you a lot of guys that did make a difficult decision and it didn't quite work out. There's a lot of those guys, whether it's LeBron or Coby or whatever, made fantastic decisions for them, and it worked out great. And some of the other kids that made those decisions hasn't worked out as well. So there's no perfect rule, but I think college basketball will be okay. We'll still have people with North Carolina on their jersey. We'll still have people with Duke on their jersey. And when those 2 teams play, there'll be a couple of fans that will show up to watch it.
Luke, of course, is trying to, you know, make it to the NBA, get drafted. What do you hope people see in him? How should he make it?
He's had, counting today, he's had 11 different teams that he's worked out for, which is a high number. I mean, Coby's worked out for 4. Sear 8 or something like that, and Cam 9 or 8 something, but 11's a good number for him because he needs to be seen by more people, and more people that see Luke and get him in, sitting down and talk to him are going to be impressed, and so long term it's going to help him out as well. And Kenny's the same thing. Kenny was, Kenny's, I think he's doing one today as well. So I think Kenny and Luke are both doing one today. So what you want is to have those kind of guys seen by more people know anything about them. And then so if a guy, for example, Deion Thompson's played 9 years outside the USA and has had a great time. He's played 8 different countries, I think it is. And he's had a marvelous time. I mean, can you imagine you're 22 years old and play basketball for 9 years in 8 different countries and make good money? So the thing with Deion is we wanted more people to see him. And it's the same thing if it doesn't work out for Kenny and Luke to play in the NBA. They're being seen by more people. More people can testify to them. If you own a team in Serbia and call about, Luke May, you know more about him, and that always helps. And Marcus this year played in Serbia. It was, the reason I brought it up, it just reminded me of Marcus. He's player of the league 1 month, and you never can tell. Sometimes those jobs turn around and get you back in the NBA too.
Coach, speaking of Deion, did you happen to see his tattoo he got of you on his, I think it was his leg?
No.
Okay.
It's tattoos, I hate them. I think it look bad on me, so that's the reason I don't have them. But I tell them while they're here as a student, for us, try not to get any more while you're here, and you're on your own afterwards and before. I can't do anything about that. But Deion's a special kid. I mean, but
It's very detailed. It's a very.
I'll get you a photo.
I'm getting it right now if I can.
I don't.
I'm doing this right here.
Is this something
It's
has
rough.
he had in the past? When has he had this?
He just
It just came out a couple days ago.
What's that?
A couple days ago, I think.
Yeah,
I
it's a
see it,
week.
yeah.
So he got it. That's
He timed it for the press conference.
Oh, I didn't. So
Exactly.
I think I would have remembered that sucker if I'd seen it before. So no, I haven't seen that.
Roy, you talked about your coaches, your point guard, for next year. How much did you talk to Cole about playing with Coby should he come back?
Very little, because I didn't think he would come back. But there was a premise of, hey, I don't think Coby's going to be here. And Cole and Coby played together on the USA under-18 team, or under-19 last year, and got along great. If that had happened, that would have been, I'd have been a better coach. But we just talked about the fact that I thought he was not going to be here.
So Coach, having a guy like Kendall Marshall on your staff helping out, being a recent draft guy as well, did he give some advice to Coby, not as Cameron? Did they come to him at all, you think? Do you think he gave some good insight to them?
Well, I think Kendall may have, Sean may have, all of them. I mean, they probably talked to all of my staff, but I feel very pleased, satisfied, and comfortable that I have Kendall and Coby both working for us. And I can tell the guys to talk to, but I don't have any idea. I mean, I'm the guy that talks to all the general managers, and they're the ones that make the decision. But it's both those guys ended up getting hurt, but they had Kendall for maybe 3 years and Sean for 7 or 8. If they did talk to him, I had no problems with it because I trust both those guys immensely, and it's they've, like I say, they've been where those kids want to go.
Did you happen to read Coby's piece in the Players Tribune about his dad? I mean,
Yeah.
What did that do? I mean, nothing you didn't know, obviously, but.
No, but it's still, you read it, if you're human, it really does bother you. I mean, and it's in a good way because you care about the kid, but at the same time, it's very emotional. I mean, his dad was great to me. We had a nice relationship. He told me early on that he wanted Coby to play for me, and it was a little emotional for me at that time. And he was a funeral. He was passed August, I think it is, before Coby's senior year in high school. And that's a guy that basketball was a huge part of their life, but it was also father and son part that's pretty doggone good. So it's hard. It was emotional for me to read it, and yet at the same time you just smile because the kid is comfortable enough to tell the truth, comfortable enough to say that he cried, comfortable enough to do those kind of things. And So I'm just proud of him, but I mean, he's such a neat kid. I mean, one of my favorite moments with Coby White was when we went into home officially. You don't do that in kids until his senior year. And so we go in home in fall of his senior year, and his dad had passed a couple of months before, and he had been committed to us since the summer after his sophomore year. But I stand in the middle of the room and I'm looking, I say, Mom, where do you want to sit? Because I don't want to get your chair. And Coby's sitting in this nice comfortable recliner, and she said, get up. Bam, he jumped up, and I thought, my kind of kid. Mom said, get up. She didn't. So she said, you sit right here, Coach. And so it's just a wonderful family. I mean, his dad was pretty doggone neat, but the mom's strong, and sister and brother, it's a great family.
Roy, you were at the Top 100 camp. What are your early thoughts on just kind of the changes in this June evaluation period in recruiting?
Well, it remains to be seen because we haven't gone through it, but I mean, come on, guys. 2 o'clock Thursday till 2 o'clock Friday, and charge me $425 a person. Now, tell me how that's progress. You know, so I'm not that strong in the positive side right now, but it's also way early to tell, you know, because we're going to recruit this weekend and again next weekend. And then July, there's only, may only be one thing until, I guess there's 2 things. But they're not going to be as good, period. You know, because you don't have that conglomeration of talent at one site. These things that we're going this weekend, we're going to one city to see 2 kids, one place to see 1, and one place to see 3. And when they had those massive events during the July recruiting period, it was fantastic. And I have, not just from my level, I had the guy that was playing in the golf tournament I was being the face of down in Pinehurst. He said, Coach, for our level, these rules are terrible. We used to be able to go see all these kids that could play, maybe not play at your level, but they could play at our level. And so going to the NBA Top 100, that didn't help. You know, I would think that pick a school, you know, that's not the top 100. It's not going to do them any good to go see that. So I'm not real high on the changes in recruiting. We'll just wait until the end of the year. We'll see if I've gotten stronger in my negative way, or maybe I'm more positive at that point.
It's early with a lot of those rule changes. I know this one didn't affect you as much this year, but guys could sign with an agent, test the waters, and come back to school, you know, if they withdrew by a certain date. Did you like that rule or not?
No. I mean, you guys tell me. There's 353 Division I schools. And they had, what have it been, 4 assistants that they've put on trial. 4 out of 353, then every school's got 4 assistants, so you got 1,500 guys in there. So 4 out of 1,500 is pretty good quota that everybody in the business world would accept. And yet, what happened was terrible. And who was involved? You had coaches involved, you had shoe companies involved, and you had agents involved. Now this is just Roy Williams, I'm not speaking for anybody else. Again, coaches involved, shoe companies involved, agents involved. So the remedy was to do things against the coaches and give agents more access. Now come on guys, you figure that out and tell me what the hell's going on. So no, I'm not in favor of any of that kind of crap. Give agents more access. Yeah, but you guys are all intelligent, okay? That'd be like putting us in charge of our nuclear arms. We don't know what the crap we're doing. So, I mean, I can't figure that one out. I think the commission are very gifted people that are intelligent, that want to do the right thing. But that one right there, somebody's gonna have to go to bed early and get up early both to figure out how they can convince me that agents were involved. Oh, well, let's give them more access.
Coach, what kind
Is
of
that the end of this press conference?
Coach, what kind of conversations have you had with teams about Cam?
Guys, think about it. Coby's going to go in the first third of the draft, Nasir in the middle third, Cam at the bottom third. All of them are going to be in the first round. Before the draft on Thursday, I will have talked to 26 NBA teams. It's been a little more hectic right now, but Cam can shoot that basketball. And in case you guys don't know, that thing they hang from the ceiling or hang on the wall is called a scoreboard. It's not a draw charge board, it's not a dive on the floor, it's called a scoreboard. And Golden State could have used Cam, because I've never seen a pro game where they play a boxing one, because those other guys that they're playing millions of dollars usually can score. But that's what Coby had, Cam has. And he can shoot the basketball, he has size, tremendous kid, healthier than he's been in the last 5 or 6 years. So it's going to be an exciting time for him and his family too.
Roy, Sterling dealt with knee soreness the bulk of last year. Do you know how he's progressing this offseason as well?
He's still having some problems with it and is not able to do some things that we'd like him to be able to do, but we're hopeful that down the road that things will be a heck of a lot better. Is that the best way to say it?
What about Jeremiah? I know he's dealt with knee problems.
Jeremiah hasn't practiced, nobody's practiced, that's a bad way to say it. Jeremiah's still not been released to play. And, but he's here for a second session of summer school. We got everybody here now. I think today and tomorrow exams, is that correct?
I think so.
I think, and the classes are all with, I think, today and tomorrow. It's good, okay. One guy in the room young enough to know what's going on. So we have everybody here, but Jeremiah's not been released to play.
Roy, how much will having a guy like Armando to play in the post to give you more of a post presence that you haven't really had help you this year? And what have you told him to work on this summer to start?
Well, he just got here Sunday. So I said, Mondo, how you doing? He said, good, coach, how are you doing? I said, all right, I'll see you. That's all our conversation's been so far, but I think Armando's a tremendous prospect, and I think can really help us being able to score and defend around the basket, which we haven't had. We haven't had any discussions or anything yet.
Was there anything in particular, kind of like, homework, if you will, coming in that you wanted him to work on before coming?
Not really. I tell the high school coaches I'm not coaching when they're playing for them, so I'm not going to give them advice. Because when they come play for me, I don't want their butts giving my players advice. And so I wait until they get here and then try to talk to them at that point. But I really haven't. They're not dumb. I mean, he knows he needs to be able to run, and he did a fantastic job over the last year changing his body. He's an impressive looking kid, and I think he got much. I think there was a lot of improvement in his body, and that translated to a lot of improvement in his game, and we're excited about having him. But as far as specifics, I couldn't tell you if he can shoot a left-handed jump hook or not, because we haven't practiced.
Did your positive
Did you have some downtime, and if so, what would you do to kind of recharge your battery?
And not really, again, because the calendar sort of crazy right now. I mean, everybody's still recruiting and what's going on, but not really any downtime. I mean, this past weekend with Coaches versus Cancer Golf Tournament in Pinehurst, I've been the honorary chairperson of several events, but I told them this one I would really try to work. And I was ecstatic. We would raise $1.5 million. But there was a lot of time. And, so with the recruiting and different visits and things going on, there hadn't been much time to catch my breath yet, but I'll do it some point over the summer.
Did your positive experience bringing Cam in shade the way you feel about, these grad transfers now, or is that just a modern necessity of the game?
A little bit of both. I think it is a necessity of the game, but I had just such a great experience with Cam. Why would you not want to try that kind of thing again? And we had some transfers, some other transfers that we were interested in, and maybe backed off a little bit, or maybe backed off because they said they didn't like us. But I think it's part of the game. And, I still go back. I like being able to coach kids for quite a while.
Do you see Leakey's role being on this team as a versatile guy who can play a bunch of positions for you?
That's what it would be probably right there. We need him to get healthy. That ankle bothered him a lot longer than everybody thought it would. But Leakey can be the 1, the 2, or the 3. I really think deep down his future might be more as a 1 than anything. But just getting healthy, and if he does that, he's going to help us in a lot of ways. And I think before it's over with, Leakey's going to be an NBA player. I think that's how good he is.
Coby and Nasir were both in Washington working out for the Wizards yesterday, I think it was, and talked about the connection that they had even just being on campus for a year. Is there much you can you try to do as a coach, or is that up to the kids to have that sort of dynamic?
Well, they need to have good team chemistry if you want to be successful. And even yesterday, one of them worked out in the morning, one of them worked out in the afternoon. It's just the same day, but they didn't work out together. But if you're going to have a good team, you've got to have good team chemistry and recruit good kids that want to have a common goal and make sacrifices towards a common goal. Both those kids really did a nice job of that. And I think that the kids we have on campus now will be doing the same kind of thing. But it'll be a very satisfying draft for me because it's 3 different paths. I mean, Cam, 5 years ago, I don't think anybody other than Pittsburgh in the Power 5 conference even offered Cam a scholarship out of high school. And to go from that to a first-round pick. You got Nasir, who did such a tremendous job at the McDonald's and the Jordan game, and the expectations were so high, and he's still going to be a first-round pick. And you have Coby, who is just the emotional part of what his journey is, and it's a different path for him. So there's more than one way to get there, and the stories of those 3 guys are pretty doggone interesting individually, much less as a head coach, and to think about that you played a little part in it's really satisfying.
The non-conference schedule was released last week, a little earlier than usual, if I recall correctly. There aren't as many games for you to schedule now that you have a 20-game league schedule. I know what your opinion is on that. So was there a little bit of a different challenge, not having as many non-conference games this year, and kind of how you went about that?
I'm at a loss for words. Do we have a non-conference schedule that's been released?
You were golfing.
Okay, I was down in Pinehurst raising $1.5 million, so that's good.
They had to have something to Clint to do.
That's right. But we gotta have a lot more than that. No, it's getting more difficult scheduling the non-conference games, there's no question. And I think eventually, whether it's next year, the following year, I think we'll move towards playing in a major event and not playing more than one, or even maybe not playing any, where it's a home-and-home deal where you play it. We got Gonzaga the year, this year we had them here, and next year we got them at their place. And I think those kind of series are going to slide and be out of basketball.
How much do you think that hurts the game? You think it's bad for the game that you don't have?
I think it is, but you know, the TV people, I asked them, I said, if you'd rather have North Carolina, the last place team in the ACC, or North Carolina and Kentucky? They said, well, North Carolina and Kentucky. I said, well, you're not going to get that. If we go to 20, I mean, let's just go ahead and play 33 conference games and say the hell with it and go on. But I happen to think it's better for college basketball to have North Carolina at Gonzaga. But you're stupid if you do that, and I try not to be stupid. And it's, some of you've heard it, and this will be the last long answer I'll give you. In 92, 93, we played Georgia the first game. Hugh Durham was the coach, and a great defensive coach. And we got a JUCO and a high school player, and they backed off of them 10 feet. First half, second half, they backed off of them 20 feet. They couldn't make the shot. Next game, we play Indiana in Indianapolis, and Bobby Knight's not bad. He backed off of them 20 feet in the first half and 30 feet in the second half. I couldn't get either one of those kids to shoot a jump shot until February because they lost complete confidence. So it's just like if you're going out to play golf, you want to hit some good shots to give you a little confidence to try the tougher course. And that's what I think scheduling is challenge your team somewhat, but it also give them some chances to be successful, to get some confidence, to move on to a higher level. And I think playing, 20 conference games, 22 conference games, 30 conference games takes away those opportunities to build a team the way I like to build.
Roy, do you think Cole Anthony can be one of the top point guards in the country? I know he was left off of Cozy Award watch list a couple weeks ago.
And I assure you, I don't have as much time as you do. Cozy Award watch list watch, whatever the hell I said. This is June. That young man didn't need me to stand up for him. If we made out that list, his name will be on the list.
Roy, how much?
You guys could have made out that list if Cole's name's not on there.
How well do you know Woodland, and have you played with him? Gary
Woodland's a unique story. I mean, I was really nervous trying to watch it to finish. I didn't know all of this until after the fact. There was a story about that. They even said they had some clips on SportsCenter the other night. I'd like to see that, but He's a Kansas kid, goes to Washburn because he wanted to play basketball at KU, and he evidently, quote, didn't think he was good enough. But he plays at Washburn, chose Washburn because they were coming into Allen Fieldhouse and play KU in an exhibition game, or it may have been a regular game. And so he played, and I saw one of his quotes said, Gordon Kirk-Heinrich made him realize that that's not the game for him. And so then after that year, he left Washburn and transferred to KU to play golf. And I have my golf pro from Kansas, Randy Towner, that came back and played with me at Pinehurst. He knows him. Scott Buxton, a buddy of mine out there, knows him. Ross Randall was the golf coach at KU when he was there, and I was great friends with Ross. But I think that we left in April to come to North Carolina. And I say think, that was his first year of playing golf for KU, and I didn't really get to know Gary. Since then, I've gotten to know Gary a little bit. In 2010, I think it was, at Pebble Beach. I was somewhere at a golf tournament somewhere, and I was walking around and met his mom and dad. I went to see him. I went to see the golf tournament, the Open down in Pinehurst, and I followed his group for a little while, and I haven't heard anything but great things about him, and all of C.B. McGrath knows him, and told a story about he tried to fill me in exactly on what year it was, and I think that his first year at Kansas was my last year, and so by the time they were playing golf, we'd already gone.
Anybody else?
I, with you going to Pigeon Forge, I just need to know, have you ever crossed paths with Dolly Parton?
No, supposedly Dollywood is close, but I know that I'm leaving there. I see 6 of Kimmy's dance routines on Thursday night, 4 on Friday morning, and I go recruiting, go to Minnesota, go to funeral service on Saturday, and then go to Washington D.C. Saturday, and then go to Philly on Sunday, and come back for camp. It's recruiting. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Coach.